Hello and welcome. Oh, I think my camera's a little bit out of focus. No? Is it more up here? I can't tell. I need to get like a... Is it... Can't tell. It's fine. Welcome to our June Patreon Hangout. Our first... it's not really post, but I guess mid Sonic Weekathon Patreon hangout of this particular year. Oh boy. I had been kind of the rough concept for this one I've had in my head for a little while now. Oh no. Did it just like blow out your eardrums? I'm sorry. I actually made a point too of bringing my voice down to streaming volume as far as XSplit is concerned too, so hopefully it wasn't too bad there. Oh, hilarious. It does. So to be fair, it's so annoying. I wish that I had, I'm sure there's a tool that'll help me with this. So right now, my voice as I'm speaking seems to be in the ballpark of like minus 15 to minus 18 decibels, which is soft. And if anything, I might actually bring it up a little bit because I don't know why it's, normally what'll happen is if I'm playing a game, I'll be getting excited. I'll be getting up here and then it'll get close to red. But right now, that's minus 9. I don't know why. All right, I'm going to bring it back up to my normal. Here we go. This is more... This is more in the realm of where we usually record at. Yeah, and it's like barely getting up to the like red zone of like minus 6. Oh shit. Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be fun to figure out later. Let me refresh this. Does that help? That seems like that might be a little better. I think the camera was on a delay. Yeah, that should be closer to correct now. Yeah. That was weird. We have too many setups and too many weird things. I need to, one of these days, the goal is, and this is more when I have the cash to support it, but one of these days I want to spend some time kind of slightly unifying a bunch of our tech and updating stuff and making things a little bit more streamlined and easy, because right now it is just a mess on a bunch of this stuff. It is really bright in here. I'm going to turn down the overhead light just a little bit because it is bright and it's like blowing out the shot, and it's honestly a little warm in its own special way. Here, we'll do, how about this? Ooh, no, it's a little too dark. It's too moody. That didn't help. Okay. Okay, hang on a second. Bring this way down. Oh, God, why are you like this? A little bit less. Why does everything have to be a mess and also an app? There we go. That's pretty good. Nice. But yeah, it is that time of the month again where we're hanging out, we're chilling. It's like a bajillion degrees out all week. It's actually just starting to cool down. It was at the start of the week, it was like, I think we had 2 consecutive days in the uppest 90s, if not 100 at 1 or 2 points. Wednesday it was back into like the upper 80s, and then yesterday it got a little bit cooler than that, and it's just like it's been sweltering. It's been a lot to deal with all at once, but 106 degrees, Jesus Christ. I think we got to 102 here, something along those lines. But it's just been fucking hot. I don't have the AC running right now because it's noisy enough that it probably, in fact, watch, I'll turn it on. We can see how loud it is in here. That's about the volume it's usually at, which isn't terrible, but it's definitely audible in there. Going to be. Okay, that's still higher. No, 75 is fine, if not a little bit warm. No, I'm not. I'm a normal person. Yes, I am. I was mentioning because it's warm in here right now. It is warm in here. It is. There's a lot of lights on me and everything. Sarah is a lizard person who, if she had her way, would be curled up on a warm stone all summer long.
That's how you live.
That's how you live, says Sarah. Thank you. Put this over here for now. That's not a thing that happens. That's not how that works. No, it is not. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, we'll turn the AC back off because it's just noisy enough. Oh, my God. We got some Popeyes, and it just fucking arrived. I just need to, like... Oh, sorry, I forgot one of our biscuits. Leave that there for now. I just want the bag is, like, just tall and wobbly enough that I don't want it to... I just don't want it to fall over in the middle of this. I'm just moving some stuff around there. That should be good. Yeah, I don't like heat. I don't like the warmth. I'm fine with it for like vacation, usually because I can hop into like a pool or the ocean or whatever, and be good there. All right, I gotta move this bag. Yeah. The camera is such that I have to be kind of leaned a little bit. Like if I'm leaning on the arm of the couch, it's like right about here. So I'm basically right on it. So the bag being right there is like distracting and stuff. But yeah, no. So summer is upon us. It has happened. We got some of our summer things going on. You know what I should do real quick? I realize. Let me just remind folks on the Discord real fast that we're actually in, because I think some folks are still not super used to the new time. The new time for all of this. Oh, Jesus Christ. There we go. Oh, yes. Yeah. You're probably getting pinged right now. Hilarious. But yeah, no, it's been a busy month. There's been a lot of prep for stuff. Shadowthon, aka Sonic Weekathon 5, has involved a decent amount of prep that I knew I was going to have to do, but more volume of it than I think, or more time spent than I was kind of anticipating. The most recent stream on Wednesday started very late because I was wrapping up prep for the next leg of the journey there, and then we didn't even get to that part anyway because it was so late. But like, let it never be said that Egg Emperor is not a pain in the ass of a fucking fight. Even when you know what you're doing, it's just finicky enough to be a problem. But yeah, no, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do with Shadowthon. Really for like the last year or two. I kind of was like, let me think what I want to do for a couple of these. And essentially after the first two, which was the classic Genesis games, classic Game Gear games, I was like, all right, what would I do for if I had to plan out a few more of these ahead of time, what would I do? And I basically planned out 3, 4, 5, and 6 all ahead of time. And I think I've got a couple ideas down for if we make a 7th, right? But yeah, I was like, all right, cool. So for the third one, we kind of go back to consoles for the Adventure series. For 4, kind of go back to handhelds for Advance and Rush. And then for 5, I figure we can do a bunch of Shadow stuff, especially with it being the 20th anniversary of Shadow the Hedgehog, the game. Felt like the right kind of time to do that. And I've got stuff in mind for one for next year as well. After that, who knows? I don't know. I'll probably find more interesting ways to kind of get things into Sonic Weekathon form. I think it'll be a little bit less as time goes on of like, hey, we're going to play such and such specific games. Maybe one of these years. I was debating, I think actually for one of them coming up, I was debating the possibility of doing like Sage games, like the Sonic and Games Expo, or say, is that, I forget what the name they gave to it was, but or like the Sonic hacking contest or something. One of them is hitting a big milestone fairly soon. And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of a fun thing to do, to kind of like dive in on some of that and do that for one of those. So like, maybe that'll be a thing coming up or something. But yeah, somewhere between. I mean, I'm sure it's visible now. It'll be more visible in some of the upcoming live recording things. But the grays are coming in, and all the games that I remember being like yesterday when I was a teenager are now celebrating 20 or more years of existence. And it just makes me very sad. Makes me very sad indeed. Just getting this fucking bag off of me. God damn it. Okay. There, that works. I'm also going to message Sarah and let her know that her biscuit is down here. A second. There we go. but yeah, so I don't know. I think that this one's gonna have. I've got a clearer plan for how this one's gonna work. I laid this one out pretty well ahead of time. Technically, I had the last one laid out pretty well too, but the problem wound up being I was having issues. There were a lot of things going on that were making it difficult for me to actually set aside that kind of time. Because I kind of needed to pick like whole days essentially to devote to it, and all at once that became really difficult to organize. Not to mention just stuff going on in the world kind of took a bite out of me a little bit. Here we go. And I'd be lying if I said that wasn't still affecting me a little bit right now. I think I'm getting a little better at managing it. A little. At least at this point, there are now videos going up multiple per day onto the D-pad, which is nice. Because there was a stretch of time where between that and also just difficulty in getting folks over to record, like literally I think we were down to 2 people who both had pretty busy schedules who were even an option at all. So I'd been, tossing around the idea for a couple of years now, really, basically since the pandemic, where it's like, I really got to I just really need to get more comfortable, doing solo commentary on some stuff. And both because I just need to practice that in general. I think it's an area that I could use some improvement on, and it's just a good skill to have, but also because, I figure if folks are going to be less available in general, then, for the sake of keeping the channel moving, it would probably be good for me to just do more of that just broadly speaking, doing a lot of it now. Yeah. And like Mario RPG was one that I had wanted to do since it came out, and I just never was able to make the time for it. Mario Kart World was one that, I mean, I'm not married to the idea of it being a solo thing. It's just been anytime folks have been over, there have been slightly higher priority things, or folks have not been over for very long. We recently had Jeff and Dave both over when we played through the entire remainder of Eternal Darkness, which was probably a good, 16, 17 episodes. We haven't even gotten to the end of the previous recording session yet. That's going to be coming mid next week, I think. But I think that's going to be about 40 episodes in total. 40 probably pretty close to on the dot. But yeah, we did that, and we spent all night playing it until it was like almost 2 a.m. to finish it off, Let me back when Ben was playing it. Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I'm down for anything, that you want to share in the comments. By all means, go for it. There's definitely stuff that I am not aware of in there. And there's some stuff that I am, but there's definitely some stuff that I just never knew in the first place, Definitely a bit of the faulty memory curse going on with this, where it's like, oh yeah, there's a thing here, and then not realizing, oh, I'm mixing up. For example, I think there's a spot in Booster Pass that I mixed up with another spot in not Land's End, but I think maybe Land's End, whichever one has the cliff, the one that's got the huge cliff. Yeah, I'm honestly fucking stunned that I got the 100 super jumps that fast. I was expecting that to be a thing that I was going to periodically do for like the entire rest of the game. And I think it literally took me 2 episodes. I have never been able to pull it off on the Super Nintendo. The best I've ever done on the Super NES, I think, is 17. And it is retroactive. Fantastic. Like, granted, having done it once now, I know that if I had to, I could do it again. I would prefer not to, but yeah, no, on the Super Nintendo, I only got it to about 17, and I want to say that it was confirmed at some point that the timing does change on the Super Nintendo version very slightly. Like, the window shrinks and also maybe moves a little bit or something along those lines. I don't remember exactly, but I just could never figure it out. I could never get the timing down. So it just, yeah, that's just kind of how that one wound up going. So that'll be cool. We'll get what the super suit and the cape, I think. I think it's a cape and a suit that you get for all of those. Oh, thank you, baby. Enjoy the biscuit. It seemed like, at least in the Switch version, yeah, at around 12, 13 super jumps, the frame window tightens a ton. I think it's like 4. Okay. At least in the Switch version, the timing seems to be pretty much the frame that you land. Maybe 5 times smaller than normal or so. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I'm curious if it's the same window in both versions or if that has changed between the two. But yeah, I don't know. Got a very itchy leg. I'm curious. Literally, the next episode has me that I have to record, because there's one that I think it's already live now. Yeah. No, it's not live yet. It'll be going live in about half an hour. But the episode for today is Booster Pass. Hello, nobody. Hello, hello. Oh wow, it's taking a long time for the actual stream. Like on this side here on the screen to update. I can see the comments on this side, and it's like a good 5 seconds of lead up. This is on low latency mode, I'm pretty sure. Stream latency, ultra low. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. It's very odd. Actually, nerf power bounce in their remake, in a similar way, making the 4th jump there need to be nearly frame perfect there too. Okay, all right. Interesting. Yeah, weird. Sometimes it goes and sometimes it doesn't. That's so odd. That one went pretty quick. The one before didn't. Like, I saw yours and I was able to start reacting, and then it came up on here like a good second or two after. But yeah, the one from today was Booster Pass, and it would have been I would have started or done the entirety of Booster Tower, except for 2 things. One, I was recording it all of 2 hours ago. Today was kind of a mess for a bunch of reasons. I did get the movies are all set. It turns out. The problem that I ran into for part of today wound up being that modern movies don't bake in their subtitles anymore. And so in a movie that features characters speaking in both Japanese and Russian, it became a bit of a chore trying to find a copy of the movie that actually had subtitles that were attachable and could be baked in. Which I did, and it's now fixed, which is good. But so the other reason being, I wound up spending like at least a few minutes of that episode trying to find one of the hidden treasures in the first area, and I literally missed it by pixels on my own beforehand. But super small area for an episode, but no worries. And that's the thing. Like each one area isn't necessarily its own episode. Like we had the Midas River and was it Tadpole Pond? I think were back to back. We also had Pipe Vault and Yoster Isle, I think, were one episode. Technically, Moleville was one big episode, but I kind of had it as Moleville and Mole Mines because the game calls them different things. But yeah, anytime an area is like 10 minutes or less, it's like, I got to put something else on there. And like I could have done 15-minute episodes for everything across this, or 20 minutes or whatever, but I was like, I don't know. This game does a pretty good job of like really making discrete areas feel separate for the most part. So like, probably makes sense to just kind of do individual areas as their own thing. Did change a few things in Forest. Yeah, there's like little teeny bits of stuff that is different. Most of it's the same. And there are a few spots where that catches me off guard too, where it's like just based off the visuals of it, I'm just kind of like not recognizing. Because they've upgraded, like the Booster Pass looks incredible in this version. Not that the old one didn't look good, but it looks really, really good here, and it's enough to kind of throw your memory a little bit. putting the save point after the following Geno part rather than before. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. I think moving save points so that there's always one before bosses, I think, is a good call. I think that's a pretty good thing to have just in general. I'd be surprised if there's a save point before the Bunt Cake since you're in Marrymore and you could just go outside. Same thing goes for Yerdovich since you're just in Seaside Town. I don't remember if there was a save point before Johnny Jones. I don't remember if there was a save point at the top of Barrel Volcano before the Axum Rangers or before Zombone and whatever the hell it was called before. But yeah, I keep forgetting too that like the middle of the game is like a long stretch of like mid bosses and not much not much else in terms of the biggest challenges you can get yourself into between Bowyer and Yerdovich, depending on how you count Punchinello, is I think you can challenge Jinx. I don't think you have to like come back later to challenge Jinx, and then if you have the shiny stone, I believe you can go fight Culex. I don't remember if there were extra conditions on that. And those are in Monster Town, which I think is still before Seaside Town. I think it's on the way to Seaside Town. You can do all of Jinx immediately if you're strong enough. Same for Culex. Okay, yeah. And not much elf, yeah. So it was a save point in front of Bunt, I think, in the room where Bowser breaks the... Okay, that was what I was thinking. It was in the chapel like lobby. I couldn't remember if there was a thing there. Attack Scarf and Super Suit makes it... Oh, that's a good point, actually. I didn't even think about that having those may actually help a lot. Some of the biggest trouble with... the biggest trouble with both of them is being good about defense. Because, in particular, Jinx's Quicksilver attack is a fucking bitch. If you mess up the timing on that, it's just like, great, so-and-so is either at 0 or 1 hit point. That's cool. And then Culex, same thing, where the physical attacks are the one where it's like, okay, if anything stops happening for like a split second, you just hit B and hope for the best. Which it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in this game. Now that you've got, at least for the first few hits, the little warning, then like literally we'll be in the middle of battle and all of a sudden it'll just be like ding and it's like, oh shit, hit B. So that'll make for an interesting experience there. But yeah, I'm trying to think what the road to the next proper boss is going to look like, and it's basically what Booster Tower, Marrymore, Star Hill, and then I guess then after that it's probably off to Monster Town, Land's End, Seaside Town. No, Land's End is what gets you in the direction of Nimbus Land. Now he does the Blink Blink Flash, that amazing classic. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. That makes a little more sense for what the reference is going for, because it's not like in Final Fantasy, it would just be like, and then damage happens. Like there's a little like, oh, here's what's happening, by the way. So that actually fits a little better as far as the like reference goes. I like that. I might have a little of this food before it starts getting cold. Popeyes is delicious. I love their chicken. Only had it for the first time like a year or so ago, and it's always been available. The last apartment, it was always something that we could have ordered, and I just never did until right before we left, and I was like, oh, okay. Retranslation definitely makes the guy with Culex more visible too, which that's cool. All right, that'll be pretty nice, because in the other one, it was basically you had to recognize the music, which was the boss battle from, I think, Final Fantasy IV, not 6. It also just generally had a much more intricate and elaborate sprite, more like evocative of like final bosses and major bosses from Final Fantasy 4, 5, 6. But that's supposed to be the idea, being it's not just these an FF reference, but the other one too with Culex in the old one at the very least. Yeah, it's much more noticeable if they're a 2D versus a 3D. Yeah, exactly. They were like rotoscoped, like they were visibly meant to look 3D, as opposed to the QLEX sprite, which like Final Fantasy sprites are usually meant to just look pretty flat, like, or at the very least they're not evoking a 3D image with what they're looking like. But yeah, I'm excited to do some more of that. I'm hoping that this weekend I'll have a chance to do more Mario Kart. Excuse me, Mario Kart World and Mario RPG recording ahead of time, because I don't know if I've done, outside of the first week of Mario RPG, I don't think I've done more than 3 episodes at a time of either of them. I've done a lot, because usually half the time it's like I have to record this and then I have to edit it, and it's got to go up today. Part of the reason I'm pushing so hard too is I don't want to have both of these games on our plate as Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out in 3 weeks. We might be done, at least with the main game for Mario RPG. I don't know anything with the post game. I know there's refights. That's all I know. So I don't know anything about the post game there. We might be down to like P-Switch and medallion hunting in Mario Kart World by then, but the post game stuff isn't like the end of the world. That like I don't know who is refightable. My guess would be at least bosses, but it'd be cool if mini bosses were too. It'd be cool if there's some other wacky stuff in there. I don't know any details. I think it'd be very cool if there was a fight with all 4 of the bosses at once. That'd be kind of a fun thing to do. Or I guess, depending on how you count, all 7 of the bosses at once, or 8 if you include the Axum Rangers like mech ship. But there's some kind of neat stuff to kind of look forward to there. It'll still be a surprise. I don't know I don't know anything else about it other than that there is a post game and that there are refights. With the refights being with folks having an excuse to still be alive after being defeated. All right. No, that's fair. Yeah, Cynthia and Mario RPG would be a wonderful surprise. That would actually be fun as hell. Licensing, and not that Nintendo couldn't figure it out, but like weird licensing be damned. Also be kind of amazing for Square Enix to work on a Pokemon related game, even in that sort of a sense. Whew. Oh, are there? Oh, that's fun. I almost streamed Mario RPG Armageddon when the remake was announced. I almost did. I think I still might at some point. I got way too much on my plate stream wise right now though, so I don't want to burden that, but I think actually didn't this come out in like 96 early 96, May 96 in the States. Maybe for the 30th anniversary we'll do the thing. I guess, yeah, Square, who would this have been? Not Arte Piazza. Who Oh, it was Arte Piazza. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Oh, that actually does appear to be its name. The Japanese Arte Piazza. Kabushiki Gaisha. Arte Piazza. It really does. You know what it is? Because Mike Piazza. I think he played for the Mets. Mike Piazza Metza? I don't know. I feel like that's that. I want to say he was a catcher for the Mets. Around the time Mario RPG was being made, I think the original. If you do definitely reckon the content version rather than the high difficulty version, even then it's quite hard. Yeah, I'd probably play the content version. I think I'd want to focus on just because I'm curious what it even is in the first place. Italian for artsy pizza, yeah. They got tired of margarita pizza being confused with the alcohol, so they're like, all right, now it's arte piazza. But yeah, maybe for the 30th anniversary we'll play Mario RPG Armageddon. I'll have to keep it on my radar. But yeah, I'm hoping that both games will at least be into the end game or post game in time for Donkey Kong Bonanza, which comes out a day and a half before Sarah and I go on vacation. So I'm going to try to get people to show up on Friday of that week, Friday night, so that we can play a bunch of it, and then I can edit a bunch of it, and then that'll be probably the only content going up that week while I go on vacation. And then, when we come back, we'll have more. Worst case, if it really isn't going to work out, then we'll just wait a week, because I think we're coming back the Saturday after. And so, worst case, we'll have some stuff for then. But yeah, no, Mario RPG's been great. Mario Kart World's been fine. Moving through it quicker. It's fun to explore. It doesn't make for necessarily the most amazing content, but come over and play Bonanza has no Switch 2. It looks so good. I didn't even see the direct because I'm already sold on it. I don't want to see anything else. I want to discover everything else at this point, but it looks really, really good. I'm excited for it. Everything I've seen about it has from moment one been like, oh, this looks like Donkey Kong Odyssey. I'm down for it. And apparently the direct makes it clear that is in fact the case, that it's basically Donkey Kong Odyssey, which was like, all right, that's cool. I didn't need to be told, and I'm fine with that. So that's fine. So that'll be a good time. I guess we'll be playing that before we come back for our next hangout. So look forward to that. Either starting on the, I think, 21st or the 28th of July. Yeah. Hopefully the 21st, but probably the 28th. But yeah, actually, what other stuff have we been doing? Let's get on the list. Yeah, Mario Kart World. Oh yeah. We're hopefully going to be recording some more Echoes of Wisdom and Birth by Sleep 0.2 this weekend. Things have been a little bit tricky as far as just like timing on stuff, but we should be getting into that again pretty soon. I think Birth by Sleep, we might literally record the rest of it in our next session, because we're quite a ways through our like quests, our missions that are available. And I don't know how many areas there are, but I have to imagine that it's going to start kind of broadening out a little bit as we get closer to whatever the conclusion is going to be. I seem like you're enjoying Mario Kart World pretty well. I'm played enough to cheese getting all the colors. Yeah, during one of the streams, I wound up discovering one of the easier ways to cheese a bunch of costume, which is you find a food vendor, you roll someone into it, and then you pick another racer that can get costumes, and you just literally cycle through each of them, picking it up and get as many costumes as you can. It doesn't make it super easy or obvious to know when you're done with one unless you check your map first, and then you can be done with that. But yeah, I also discovered today by accident, because I was like, I think a good goal for this as a 100% thing is to get all the stickers, because the way to get to get all the stickers is equivalent to 100%ing everything else in the game. Doing the charge and chuck thing is literally the second of only two things that have a special requirement to get a sticker. And I came really close, and it seems like it's a random event you just have to get kind of lucky for. That's the other reason I want to be doing longer recording sessions, is because the more we're playing at a given time, I think the higher the odds are that you run into him. So hopefully this weekend I'll find time to play for like a good, 2-ish hours or something. So the only they had the list in a way that made sense for that cheese method. Oh yeah, I'm sure that there's probably lists online that are like, these are the foods that get you these costumes, so therefore this clustered area right here will get you everything you need in like an hour or something. But yeah. So Mario Kart World's been good. Echoes of Wisdom and Birth by Sleep we'll be getting back into, like I said. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I think John is coming this weekend. If that's the case, we'll be able to get back into that. I believe I am next up. I felt pretty good about the face-off that we had. I was a little bit iffy about it just because of him still having a starter that was good against my two like best dudes, but I was able to outflank him in the areas that mattered and was able to just squeeze a victory out of it. I'm going to feel a lot better about it over the next like 2 or 3 of these as I start to develop a little bit more of a versatile team. And I know just enough, literally one of the last things that I can remember about Gold and Silver. I remember the Elite Four. I remember that I think the last gym leader is Claire, who's a dragon trainer. And I think if you follow the order that the game kind of nudges you in the direction of, I want to say, I forgot her name. Whitney, I think, is next. And I'm aware of the mill tank. It's one of the only things that I still remember about Gold and Silver. And I don't have any great answers for it right now. I think what I'm going to have to do is either beef up Rollin' Rock because he'll at least resist rollout, or preferably, if I can get my hands on a fighting Pokemon before then, fighting with stab plus weakness may be enough to short circuit that faster. Because otherwise I'm going to be in big fucking trouble in there. So that's going to be, just want someone who can survive. You'll have to fight past attract. Oh, great. If you have healing items, only a matter of time. Yeah, that's fair too. My biggest worry though is like, at its peak, rollout can be pretty much one-hit kill territory for most Pokemon that don't resist Rock type. So that's gonna be the big challenge there, is making sure that I'm not just taking it directly to the face. The other problem too is there's not a lot of money yet. The economy's been pretty strict and stringent so far, so I don't have a lot of cash for healing stuff. It almost fucked up John on his side because I think he ran out of healing stuff at one point and he just barely made it out of that situation. So yeah, we're both encountering a little bit more friction than normal. I still feel embarrassed that I lost a Pokemon over something so stupid, but because Miltank is fast as fuck, and now the remakes also has Scrappy to hit Ghost with Stab Stomp. Great. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do my best. I have my strategy in mind. My strategy A, while I've got it, is Rollin' Rock, hopefully with a fighting move. I would love, Rock Smash or something would be great. Any fighting move at all would be great. And plan pre-alpha, if I can make it happen, is just a fighting Pokemon in general. You can go ahead that's the thing, is you can go ahead of basically all of the cities in this game to grab more stuff. I've been a little gun shy about it because I know that stuff will keep advancing, but it's not going to advance that fast. And also, I want to say that the Elite Four in this game is in like the 40s or something. It might cap out in the 50s. It's like, I think it's literally the lowest level Elite Four in the series because they intend for you to, at 50, because they intend for you to play through Kanto and come back, at which point the Elite Four and Lance are properly leveled for that kind of thing. So that'll be interesting. It should be a much more fast-paced experience getting through the main game. Kanto it doesn't change. Does it not change in the base game? That's so funny. So that means that blue and then red are just the two hardest challenges in the game otherwise? That's amazing. I think that the way that we're going to handle it is that the Elite Four, like once we've done the 8 gym leaders and the Elite Four and Lance the first time, that is going to be the main game, and whoever wins up to that point can do Kanto. I think it just makes more sense. Also, the Kanto side of things, if I recall correctly, is a lot thinner on content. It's a somewhat breezy tour through Kanto, which starts in Vermilion City for reasons. The jump to red is ludicrous. Yeah. Definitely compared to the other hardest challenges like the new Elite Four and stuff. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I think having Piplup on the team is going to help quite a bit. And I think we're getting Surf fairly soon anyway, so we'll have that move back too. And it'll be nice to kind of get him all prepped up. Yeah. I didn't even get rid of on my list of games on here. I still have Brilliant Diamond, which is now done. It is over. The game is finally done after over 3.5 years. Brilliant Diamond is over. It would have been over a lot sooner if its post game was not quite as chunky as it is. The Diamond and Pearl, the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl post game is a little bit thick. And that's okay. There was a lot of strategizing and stuff in there. Managed to get through a very large portion of it before dipping into X items at all, which was nice. And then, yeah, but we have concluded that series. Definitely wears that. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I understand that completely. It was wearing me down too, to be fair. I was definitely just kind of like, I just got to start picking stuff and going. It's too much. But yeah, no. So that one is all clear. Now we're down to, what do we have for Pokemon series? Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Pokemon Insurgents, which I think I'm actually gonna be able to record some this weekend. I may not if John is actually around for Heart Gold and Soul Silver, because I don't necessarily want to be doing both of those at the same time recording wise. But if not, then I'll do Insurgents this weekend. And Super Mystery Dungeon, which I should be able to get back into pretty soon, maybe even this weekend actually. Especially if I could try to get an episode up for Saturday and get another one up for Sunday, because I want to keep that one moving as well. But yeah, Pokemon is moving along. It's actually got some speed in its feet. It's good times. Eternal Darkness, I already mentioned we recorded the rest of that. We're up to, I think today's episode is episode 21 out of, I think 40, pretty close to 40. And that one's been a good time. Jeff and Dave seem to have a blast with it. We have some closing thoughts at the end as well, just kind of doing our debrief and our kind of post-mortem and all that jazz. I'm holding off on, if we can record some before then, great. I'm holding off on getting the next Supersonic Let's Play stuff started until Sonic Weekathon is over. There's just a lot of Sonic content otherwise. And we'll be getting it. When we get into that, it'll be Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, which should be an interesting time, because it was funny. I looked back and Sonic Riders 1 was a pretty short Let's Play. It was like, I think it was less than a month's worth of episodes or something. Maybe that was before mission mode, but it wasn't much in terms of time. And we sadly had a session with Peter and I that we recorded where we got to like the third race of the story mode, and again, the story mode doesn't have that many races. It's like 7 or 8. But we had to can it over. There was some glitch in the recording. I forget if it was audio or video, but we like lost everything. It's like, we should just start over. We may as well start over. And that was a long time ago at this point, so it's like, okay, we definitely have a reason to just start over now. Resident Evil, I believe CJ and I are going to start with Resident Evil 5 pretty soon. However, there is now the question of whether we should be playing Resident Evil. I forgot the name of the one. Resident Evil Requiem, aka Resident Evil 9, seems to be a sequel to a pair of side games in the Resident Evil side of things. Like, the main character is a character who I think her parents, or at least a parent, was in another Resident Evil game, and I kind of mentioned that to Siege, like maybe we want to cover those. Then we weren't going to, but now that they're drawing from that well, it might be a good idea to do that. So that'll either way that'll be happening fairly soon. I'll kind of figure out what's happening there. Star Force 3 post game continues on. I don't know if we're gonna get any more done this weekend, but oh yes, I saw that as well. There was the mention of they were originally thinking Leon, but he's not scarable enough. Which is like, okay, but he was always kind of an edgy brick in terms of emotion previously, and you seem to think he was fine for Resident Evil 2 and 4, so I don't know. Also, it'd be nice if Leon would actually come back sometime. I don't know if he was in 6, but even if he was, that's been a good, like, what, decade plus at this point? Like 15 years since then? Maybe not that long. Maybe it's more like a decade or so. But it'd be nice for Leon to come back. Maybe he'll be in there as a sport character, similar to Chris Redfield. Guess the different horror style they have now ever since 7. I suppose. Though honestly, one and 2 had that same kind of more tense horror feel to them before it became an action fest. Though you could also argue that Leon kind of went along with that trajectory too, to become more of just an action fighter dude and all that jazz. But all right, so there's that. I mentioned Kingdom Hearts, Super Mystery Dungeon. Yeah, Twitch stuff. We're doing Sonic Weekathon 5 Shadowthon, as I mentioned before. None of them really felt scared 1 and 2, honestly. That's also true. They didn't seem very scared. They seemed very tactical in their choices. Claire seemed a little scared, but that's about it. Whatever happened to Claire? I'm going to see what's up with that. But yeah, Shadowthon is on. Monday and Wednesdays, we're going to be doing that. Shadow Generations plus the games that wound up inspiring the levels from it. When we come back on Monday, we're going to be playing the Team Dark episode of Sonic Heroes before diving back into Rail Canyon in Shadow Generations. Star Force Super Enjoy, a little scared now. It's the boss grinding time. Yeah, the biggest irritation for me is just like there's so much money, there's so much zenny that has to be earned in order to get a bunch of chips that you can only get with zenny, which is irritating because I could also just use that zenny to buy Search Eyes and Cloakers and make this a lot easier. So it's kind of irritating that that's the situation that's in there. No, I know that we can have 5. It's more just a matter of being able to have a diverse set of stuff to pick from too. But I don't know. We'll see. There's also instances where we're still working with pretty outdated cards that we just don't have good versions of. We have a bunch of 3s that we have to get our hands on too. So that's going to be kind of a deciding factor in some of that. But yeah, we're only like 10-ish cards away from being able to get through that next gate and at least see what's coming up next. Hopefully there will be some stuff there. Picking up green data repeatedly in the beginning of the post-game noise wave. Yeah, that's not a terrible idea, especially since I don't recall whether the green data can actually generate fights anymore. That used to be a big problem in Battle Network, where it's like green would just be like, oh, virus jumped out. And it's like, ugh, annoying. I'm hoping to not have to rely on that. Maybe we will. I don't know. It might be faster, arguably, than grinding out like Cygnus Wing fights or whatever. But we'll see what happens there. It's going to depend how the next like chunk of stuff goes. This Zenny or a random card. That's good. That's good. But I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's left of the post game. We're much closer than it feels like. It feels like we got a long way to go, but we really don't. It's mostly bosses that it's going to be the most time consuming chunk of it at this point. Yeah. Other streamy stuff. Dave played some Elden Ring Night Rain. And sounded like he had a good time with that. I know he's planning on doing Hollow Knight at some point very soon. No stationary V3s. I don't know how that goes. Yeah, not even having stationary V3s is irritating. Maybe the RE fights give decent money with Zenny Finder. That I do want to check as well. If I'm gonna do like boss fights for those, I may as well do like, Taurus Fire R or something, and just grind it out, or Spade Magnus or something. and hopefully that'll result in a bunch of money. I don't know. We gotta see. I keep mixing up Night Rain and the Duskbloods because every FromSoft and FromSoft Light like uses the same general premise for their naming structure. Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Night Rain, Duskblood. Like, okay. Sekiro is the only one that has like a real separate name from everything else. But soon because they're repeatable as opposed to V3s. Legal card data does come in tiers based on the difficulty of the fight, but R fights give a lower rarity than V3 fights. That's interesting. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's funny, though, because the R fights, I believe, are the hardest of those as opposed to the V3s, but they are easier to... They're not just easier to trigger. You can trigger them as opposed to having to wait them out. I know that Jeff was talking about getting back into streaming pretty soon. I don't know what his plan is for what. I don't know if he's diving in on more Anindo or if he's doing something else. As for when Shadowthon... Oh, CJ and Felice are doing Doom the Dark Ages and Cult of the Lamb. I believe Felice is inching closer towards actually completing the game. I was talking with Dave about it, and he was like, how are they still playing that? How many and I was like, yeah, Felice has done at least 40 streams at this point, and is getting quite close, if not already at over 100 hours in Cult of the Lamb. And he's like, I think I beat that game in less than 10. And it's like, yes, but also Felice is having fun with, they did beat the game. Okay. I was like, Felice is just enjoying doing like the cult simulator part of it more than anything. So, there's more content now. I think they'll play for 90 minutes a time. I think they were playing for like in the ballpark of like 2 or so, but even still, like 40 streams of that, even for 90 minutes, is at least 60 hours. And that's assuming that it cuts off after 90 every time, which I don't think it does. And yeah, when Shadowthon is over, I'm going to be getting back into Brawl, as well as getting started on Metroid Prime. Based off of the poll in the Discord, I believe I am going to be doing Metroid Prime Remastered on the Switch, which should be a fun time. I wish that they would do the same with 2 and 3. It's kind of a bummer that they're not doing that in anticipation of 4, because they're both kind of a pain in the ass to get a hold of these days. 2 being on the GameCube as well as 1 means that they are at least potentially able to turn up in Nintendo Switch Online. But 3 has always and only ever been a Wii game, which means you either need to play it on the Wii or the Wii U, and your options are Metroid Prime 3 or Metroid Prime Trilogy 3. And so yeah. So that's already kind of decided for us, but the other question, I guess, is going to be whether I play the GameCube or Wii versions of Metroid Prime 2. I don't think I have either of them. I'm going to have to get creative with that a little bit, because I don't have a lot of spare cash at the moment, so we'll have to see how that's going to go. I was kind of hoping that my freelance stuff was going to pick up again. I had a meeting yesterday to kind of go over it, and I was like, oh yeah, so that 1 month freeze that we were having on new dev work is actually probably going to be another couple months. It's like, oh, sweet. Okay, cool. So your homeboy's been spending a lot of time over the last 2 days filling out job applications. It's been a wonderful time. Anything else? The Rat-a-Tat streams are coming back. I almost did one tonight, but we wound up switching gears. I think what's going to wind up happening as things kind of smooth out a little bit in terms of the prep work things I have to do. Oh, Dragon Quest III is also going to be coming back before we get too far away from Shadowthon. That will be happening sometime in the next 3 weeks. I've been doing a bunch of the prep work on that. I'm down to the last maybe 15% of what I need to do for prep. And it's gotten much faster. I've been doing a bunch of grinding stuff to grind for abilities and skills, and I made the very stupid call of changing everyone to Gadabout at the same time, which slowed things down massively. Should not have done that, but we're past that now. Everybody's gaining their skills and spells. Our hero is gaining levels like crazy because there's not really a lot of ways to make that make sense. I do not own Prime Trilogy. I don't think I do anyway. I don't. No, I don't believe I do. I see Mario Kart 8. No, Mario Kart. I see Mario Kart Wii, then something I can't read, and then New Super Mario Brothers Wii. Literally looks just like a white box. I can't see it at all. I'll check it afterwards, but I don't believe that is Metroid Prime Trilogy. My brain completely turned off. Oh, Dragon Quest. Yes, Dragon Quest is going to come back. We're going to finish that off. I feel awful that it's taken this long. It kind of kept being a thing that I needed to do a lot of prep work for, and then other stuff that needed more urgent attention kept coming up, and it's like, well, I can't spend 10 hours doing this today, so I'll have to do like half an hour of it while I do other stuff, and then we'll come back to it. But that'll be nice to get into there. Yeah, I'm excited for Metroid Prime also. Literally the only Metroid game I'd ever played more than an hour of prior to 2021, whatever year Dread came out, was Metroid Prime 1. Oh, cool. Well, I will let you know. I will keep an eye out and see how things are looking. Hopefully I'll be able to have something dealt with before then. And we probably have at least a good month of Metroid Prime on its own anyway. So hopefully I'll have that sorted, because I'll have much bigger problems if I don't. But Beard Bros are player. Blah, 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 blah. Nice, very nice. Very, very cool. So long as it's better than whatever the reviewer that couldn't figure out how to get through the ceiling is doing, that'll be a good time there. But yes, the Rattata streams are going to come back. Like I was saying, as stuff kind of smooths out a little bit over this next week or two, and the prep work that I have to do kind of vanishes, it'll make it very easy for me to just kind of pick the occasional day and just be like, all right, cool, here we go. We can actually dive in again. Brett was lost and he was like, right, remember this fucking shit because of that drama, shoot the ceiling, nice. Like, it's not necessarily a super telegraphed thing to do, but you're led into that area because the game it's not strictly linear, but the game it's definitely got arrows pointing you where you need to go pretty much the whole time. And there's logical forward progression to make pretty much through the entire game experience. And it leads you to that room pretty clearly. And then you're like, okay, what do I do here? And at that point, it's just like, just try some shit. And if you've played any Metroid game before, then it's like, all right, you can, there's stuff where you shoot holes in walls and ceilings and stuff, but I don't really like the Metroid games. Everything else is fine, but that tile hunting almost never goes. That's true. That is very true. I think they probably could have made it a slight bit less just figure it out, even just a little bit. But I don't know. I didn't think it was too bad. I don't remember whether I was aware of that at the time or if it had happened yet when I got to that spot or not. I don't remember. But it didn't seem too ridiculous to me. Also, there are enemies that were right above that, so there's a little bit there that could kind of guide you in that way, but we'll see. I mean, I'm curious what's going to happen with Metroid Prime 4. The Metroid games, or I guess I've only played the first one, doesn't have nearly as much of that kind of stuff going on because it doesn't really work the same way in a 3D game. But yeah, I'm excited to see what winds up happening there. And we'll be getting into that probably before the next, I suspect, before the next Hangout, we'll be playing Metroid Prime. Because my guess for Sonic Weekathon, whoops, that. Oh, I found out July 7th is the day that I have a different thing happening. So we'll be streaming, but we won't be streaming Shadowthon. Yeah, I think what's going to wind up happening is the target is that we wrap up Shadowthon by the 14th of July. I won't be streaming on the 16th. Sarah, I'm going to be doing stuff with Sarah for her birthday, and then I'm going to go on the week after that. So the 28th or the 30th, we're going to be back to other stuff. So hopefully, July 30th we'll be doing Metroid Prime. Worst case, I'll be doing Dragon Quest that day, and then the next week, like the 6th, I think, will wind up being Metroid Prime. But yeah. I don't know if I have anything else on the list here. I've got so much stuff I need to sort through. I've got tons of notes for things. We don't have time right now to get into it just because we're starting the movie night a little earlier because it's so long. But I've been burning the midnight oil a little bit with 2 pretty serious video essay things. I've talked a little bit about that. I'm doing one that is kind of focused on Alex Yard. I don't like this, but I feel like, someone's got to kind of say something. And so that's where I'm kind of at with that. And it's a situation that's only really gotten worse. So I'm hoping to have something on that fairly soon. It's lower priority than the big video, which I am also getting a hold of a couple of people to kind of talk through them with some about a few things and get some details written down, get some more info on things that are necessary. The big video has a lot of chunks to it. In some ways, it's like five separate videos all put together, which is part of why it's taken so goddamn long. But like, I've got messages I'm sending to 2 different. I've got messages that I'm sending to both a lawyer and a law clerk on social media through DMs to try to get their opinions / can you point me in the right direction to get more information on this thing XYZ. There's some pretty serious stuff in that one, so I'm trying to make sure that I do it very right. I know that it's been an eternity getting this thing done, and I do apologize for it. I will be very happy when it's over because it's a difficult video to work on for a lot of different reasons, and none of this stuff makes me feel very good. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to getting it done. I'm looking forward to putting it out there, both of them, and I'm hoping people like them and they're not like absolutely hated. So I don't know. Great note to end this on, right? I'm gonna go get ready for the movies. We're doing our community night tonight. We're watching Logan Lucky and Bullet Train. I'm gonna get that situated right now, and we should be getting started right around 8:30 in the D-Pad and Chillin' You room on our Discord. Next month, it's gonna be August 1st. So technically the July one, but it's the Friday that I can actually do. We will have the actual August one at the end of August. Digimon Night should be coming back in August as well, and we'll be getting into Digimon Adventure 02. But yeah, if you want to get in on these, anybody watching the VODs, patreon.com/dpadfm, as you see right there. And thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you later. Have a good one, and bye-bye.